right, so get ready because tonight
Oh.
we are diving deep
Oh, I love a good deep dive.
into your horror movie franchise tier list.
Ooh, spooky.
Yeah, so we've got all the classics on here, like, your Halloweens, your Friday the 13th,
Oh, the greats.
and even some I've never even heard of.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear about those.
Yeah, there are a few on here I've never even seen, so this should be fun.
Well, I'm ready to break them down for you.
Yeah, I'm excited to get your take on it. I know you know a lot about movies in general, but horror is really your bread and butter.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love all sorts of films, but horror will always have like a special place
Yeah.
in my heart.
Yeah, so this list isn't just about like, which movies scared you the most as a kid or, whatever.
Oh, no.
We're looking at like cultural impact, how the sequels hold up, and just the overall like quality of the franchise.
The storytelling, the themes, the whole shebang.
Yeah, the legacy. So I'm already seeing some like interesting choices here. The Conjuring universe is way up there.
Oh, yeah.
And those movies
Were huge.
were box office like
Yeah.
monsters.
Yeah.
But then Jeepers Creepers is down and tarnished.
Ooh. Yeah, that's rough.
Without we even
That one hurts.
begin.
Well, why don't we start
Yeah.
at the top, with the genre-defining franchises.
Okay, so we're talking like
Yeah, like the heavy hitters.
real deal here.
The ones that didn't just scare audiences, they changed
Right.
the way that horror films were made.
Okay, so we're talking like Halloween.
Exactly, like your
Halloween, The Exorcist,
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all the...
all the greats.
But what makes them so special? I mean, everyone knows like Halloween's a classic. But what makes it like genre defining?
Well, I think a good example with Halloween is the way it uses the subjective camera.
Oh, yeah.
So we see the world through Michael Myers' eyes, which puts the audience
Yeah.
in the position of the stalker, which back then, that was groundbreaking, and it's influenced countless slashers that came after it.
I never even thought about it that way.
Oh, yeah.
I always thought it was just like the mask.
The mask, the music.
The music, yeah.
But it's all about that feeling like you're being watched.
Right, right.
And The Exorcist, that one, I mean, it went beyond just simple scares,
yeah.
and it tapped into these societal anxieties.
Oh, for sure.
So, it's the 1970s, traditional religious beliefs are being challenged, and The Exorcist gives us this visceral fear of ancient evils invading our modern world.
It definitely pushed boundaries. I remember reading about all the controversies surrounding that
Right.
when it came out.
Oh, yeah, I mean, people were fainting in the aisles.
Yeah,
Some people thought it was, the devil's work.
right.
But that's what makes it so impactful. It gets people talking, and it reflects those, like, deepest fears that we have.
And then we've got The Shining. I mean, that film's just a masterclass in psychological horror. Like, the way Kubrick uses those long takes and those unsettling images just creates this constant sense of dread
Oh, yeah.
that stays with you
That stays with you.
long after the movie's over.
Speaking of dread,
Yeah.
seeing The Shining as a kid
Ooh,
definitely, like, scarred me for life.
really?
Especially that scene with the twins in the hallway.
Oh, yeah.
I still can't look at a tricycle the same way.
I can see why. That's a rough one.
But moving down the list a little bit, we have the almost perfect tier, which includes franchises like Scream.
Oh, Scream. Yeah.
Yeah, now this is where things get interesting.
Things get a little more meta.
Yeah, so Scream, I mean, it was huge. It totally revitalized the slasher genre,
Yeah.
made it self-aware,
It was so smart.
poking fun at all those horror tropes.
Yeah.
But some people say that it also, spawned this wave of overly ironic horror movies that...
Got pretty stale. Do you think Scream ultimately helped or hurt the genre?
I mean, that's a great question, and it's one that people are still debating,
Right.
I think Scream definitely, breathed new life into slashers,
Right.
but it also did open the door for that more self-referential style that wasn't always successful.
Right.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
And it's still, its legacy is still being debated today.
So just because a franchise is popular
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's universally praised?
No, not at all.
Right, yeah.
And speaking of divided opinions,
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious to get your thoughts on the Evil Dead franchise.
Ooh, Evil Dead.
Yeah. But
Right.
the list puts it in, the cult classics tier.
Okay.
But I think, some would argue it deserves to be a little bit higher. What do you think?
Evil Dead is wild.
It is.
Over-the-top gore,
Yeah.
dark sense of humor.
So much fun.
And let's not forget about Bruce Campbell wielding that chainsaw.
Oh, iconic.
So iconic.
Yeah.
Do you think it's gotten more appreciated over time?
I think so. It started as this, low-budget indie film, and it gained this massive following
Right.
through word of mouth and home video. And now
Whoa.
it's like, you can't deny its influence on horror, especially like in the realm of practical effects.
Okay, here's one that caught my eye. The It's remake is down in the declined over time tier.
Oh, yeah.
Now, those movies were box office hits,
They made bank.
but the list says the sequels didn't live up to the hype. What do you think went wrong?
Well, I think the first It's chapter did a fantastic job of capturing the essence of Stephen King's novel.
Right.
It had that perfect blend of childhood nostalgia, coming-of-age themes,
Right.
and genuine scares. But the second film,
Right.
while visually impressive, it just struggled to maintain the same emotional depth and focus.
Yeah, I felt like they tried to cram too much into it,
Too much.
and it lost some of that, like, magic that the first one had.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is a shame because Pennywise is such a
Oh, he's terrifying.
terrifying and iconic villain.
Iconic, yeah.
And Bill Skarsgård, amazing performance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example of how adapting a complex book into a successful film series
Right.
can be incredibly difficult.
Yeah, it's like, how do you capture all that depth?
Right. Especially with a book as dense as...
Right. And that brings us to something we see a lot on this list.
Oh, yeah.
The sequel problem.
The sequel problem. Oh,
It seems like so many horror franchises struggle to
it's true.
maintain their quality after the first film. Is it just that hard to capture lightning in a bottle twice?
It definitely is a challenge. Sometimes the original creators move on to other projects,
Right.
so the sequels lack that unique vision.
Right.
And other times the studios interfere.
Right.
They prioritize profits
Right.
over artistic integrity. And sometimes, filmmakers just try to replicate the same formula instead of allowing the story to evolve organically.
Right. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, but sometimes you need to fix it.
Right. Sometimes you need to,
Breathe some fresh air into it.
breathe some fresh air into it and try some new things.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder if some of these franchises would have been better off as standalone films.
Maybe, but then, we wouldn't have these iconic characters like Freddy Krueger or Chucky.
Right.
They've become part of the horror landscape.
Right. They're like household names.
Exactly.
I mean, my mom knows who Freddy Krueger is,
Everybody knows Freddy.
and she does not watch horror movies.
That's how you know you've made it.
Right. That's how you know you've made it.
Yeah.
So this whole deep dive has given me a new appreciation for the range and evolution of horror.
Absolutely.
There's some movies I want to revisit with fresh eyes,
I love that.
and others I need to add to my watch list immediately.
That's the beauty of horror. It's this genre that constantly reflects our changing fears and anxieties, and there's always something new to discover.
Right.
So as you're watching these films, I want you to consider this. What truly makes a horror film stand the test of time? Is it the scares? Is it the themes? Is it the cultural impact or something else entirely? Think about it the next time you're curled up with a good, scary movie.
Ooh, spooky.
Ooh, yeah.
I love it.
Love
Awesome.
it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
This was great.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. We'll see everybody next time on the next deep dive.
See you later.